So welcome to this weekly update video. Now you can see we have a pretty somewhat busy tropical Pacific, as we have really 2 areas of disturbed weather that probably bear watching over the upcoming days. I mean, obviously we have the tropical depression Felicia, which is probably probably unidentifiable at this point. Probably somewhere up here, maybe over here, but now the 2 areas of disturbed weather I mentioned a couple days ago when I published my last video, it kind of got upgraded because YouTube was dumb and the video wouldn't process. But anyway, today it's pretty quiet in East Pacific. Here's a new invest we have at Invest 99E. The answer is giving us a 40% chance of development within 2 days and a 90% chance of development within 5 days. And honestly, that might be a little bit too bullish. I mean, that might be a little bit too bullish just because it doesn't look too impressive. It's affectionately diminished, and the fact the shoe environment is in somewhat uncertain. There might be some high share. I mean, hold on. Looking at the ship's text file, you see a decent environment ahead, but nothing spectacular. See a decent environment ahead for the short term, but by around 60-72 hours, conditions are rapidly going to become less favorable. Oceanic key content is going to drop, seas temps are going to decrease, and wind shear is going to increase. And there's a combination of 3 factors. Yep, combination could limit the system's development. I mean, however, I would say supporting this is not fully anonymous. I mean, I personally do admit that the ship's and LGM's tracks probably do fine. Like the GFS here, you see some strong wind shear. That's likely to create, from I believe, the sensing from this weakness that's causing all this convergence. Anticyclonic convergence aloft. The cyclonic convergence aloft. That's like creating some sinking air to the south and south. Right, all this unfavorable conditions aloft are likely to, I don't know which term for it, but are likely to impede development. So you can see the ships, you can see the GFS is showing a lot of wind shear. I don't have access to European wind shear, so I don't know what's saying. There is some differences in the setup between these. Here's what the GFS has at L150. We're going to see that weakness. It's going to kind of create some anticyclonic blow off when you have winds from a high pressure region to a low pressure region. Meteorology, when you go from a high pressure region to a low pressure region, you're going to get these winds aloft. It's not really on the good side you want to be on. You want to be on, like, over down here, where it's probably, low conditions are a little bit more favorable, and that's probably where, if this decides to strengthen, you just kind of do so east and south. Now, the European scenario is interesting because they keep the system pretty further south than the GFS about. Maybe not, but they keep it a little bit further south. Not only that, they have the high pressures in the north, so it's gonna be, they don't have as much of a high to low action like they do here. They have a stronger ridge over the western United States, and I might actually have a slight favorance toward the GFS, partially because of this high pressure region in the United States. The GFS isn't really depicting it that much. The GFS doesn't really have as much of a high bias in this part of the world. As a result, there's probably likely to be lower pressures than what the GFS is showing. And as a what was I gonna say? Hold on, what was I gonna say? Oh. And then as a result, I'm more inclined to think the system's going to be more of a system that, if it does develop, will probably be in a shielded environment. However, the European solution, given the correct, which gotta give the Europeans some respect, they make these two systems into powerful hurricanes. And the GFS is slowly turning more aggressive with the system. Now, there's also a system behind that we need to watch. The Yankees is giving this a 0.3% chance development. The system's probably going to be in a little bit more favorable environment. We'll hopefully have a little bit better moisture envelope because this system will be at kind of the height of the convective Kubrick Kelvin wave, which would somewhat offset some of the wind shear. That's to give the system at least a pretty good moisture envelope to intensify. So another battle that Investing is going to have to battle through is the fact the air in this region has been untapped, so by any tropical cyclones or any disturbances in quite some time. So conditions, there's going to be large and dry and relative humidity values in our grading. So I mean, it's not an obvious instant no to a major hurricane, but that's not something that's going to necessarily speed up the rate of development per se. And after these two systems are later this week, the GFS was also been depicting sort of. I mean, this is the only one that showed it was the 12Z one, but the few other ones have been hinting at this. Another possible hurricane, like a little bit closer to the Mexican coast. You kind of typically get this kind of storms, kind of series of storms. The cycle that we were starting in the beginning of the month is sort of starting over again now. And you're kind of seeing the cycle kind of, even though it's we thought it had within 2-3 weeks, so restart itself. And though after a while, you start to get first few storms tend to be further, tend to be like more out here, but then the next several storms of the series tend to be around closer to out here. Now, even this 18Z GFS one, the 0Z GFS I haven't looked at because it's still going now. Also had another system that close to around 130W, but that's further out, and the GFS doesn't have a great handle in this kind of MJO situation. But by that point in time, MJO will be back probably again for the second time. So based on that forecast alone, I'd expect continued activity. Now the HWRF. Now this HWRF keeps the system pretty weak, doesn't it? Now this current run of the HWRF after the ENZ run had the 0.3 disturbance that the European shows. I believe the NASA and UK Met models also show this, but the HWRF also, I looked at the GFDL, so the HWRF also shows a hurricane out of this in 5 days. Probably does it a little faster than all the other models. While it's also a formidable tropical cyclone or formidable tropical storm out of 90. This scenario seems reasonable, though I'm questioning how models depictions of systems this close apart, how good they are. And I will say the previous one had a very powerful hurricane out of Investing. Nothing at all to its southeast. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I feel like I always say that, but it's true. I mean, this is a lot of the future. I think depends on where the center reforms. The center reforms further southwest. The south center forms, and when I center forms to the south, and the system's obviously more, a little bit more likely to take a more southerly track. But the center platforms to a little bit further north, like some of the SAP fixes and ANC fixes have been all over the place to some extent. Then systems like more likely to get torn apart because the wind shear is going to be to the south. But the system can stay south in the deep tropics. Not only will the still probably have a better moisture envelope, but the wind shear will probably be a little bit low, and the system is more likely to survive as a tropical cyclone, as it encounters a not so favorable area. Not so big, all this convergence aloft near Hawaii. This is typical what you typically see in the Great Hawaiian Shear. And then then one last thing I was going to mention before I talk a little bit more about my experience for this week is that we have a major convective Kubrick Kelvin wave event coming across the South Pacific, coming up across the South Pacific. And as a result, the models are starting to get bullish on something happening, like near the Solomon Islands of this is obviously pretty rare for this time of year. This is obviously pretty rare for this time of year. Here's the Solomon Islands, here's Vanuatu, here's Tonga, and here's like Fiji. No. Here's Fiji, so GFS is kind of picking windows, so we have another cowboy that's probably to spark a big westerly wind, which they can. They are showing a pretty formidable cyclone. And nearing this part, nearing Vanuatu and New Caledonia. And it's gonna be interesting, and this is likely to be one of several tropical cyclones that are going to develop next week. There's not only the 3-pack, maybe 3-pack ones. There's definitely one, maybe 2 pack ones, and there's this S-pack one. So I'd say at least 4 or 5, maybe if we're lucky, get 6 tropical cyclones again in the series. It's not as many as we got last time quite, but it's pretty close. Last time I think we got at least in my opinion, 8 tropical cyclones. You had 2 Central Pacific, no, 9. 3 East Pacific, and then what in my opinion you had, then you had 3 main West Pacific ones, and then you had, in my opinion, 4 West Pacific ones. Yeah, so that's a total of 9 systems. I don't think we'll probably about half that, but that's still quite a lot. Especially for most years. I mean, the MGO is forecast retrograde, so I do think because of that, it's going to kind of screw the MGO timing up, and because MGO is more likely to be favored to the East Pacific with all the upward motion, I would not be surprised to see MGO stick around for quite some time. Anyhow, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this weekly update video. Bye!